Weakness does not survive because it is strong. It survives because it is protected. The moment you stop protecting it, it starts to die. That is not a theory. That is how the human mind actually works. Weakness requires a specific environment to stay alive. It needs comfort. It needs avoidance. It needs your cooperation. The second you remove those conditions, the weakness has nowhere to go. But most people spend their entire lives unknowingly maintaining the exact conditions that keep their weakness intact. Think about that for a moment. Not as a judgment, as an observation. Most people are not failing because they are incapable. They are failing because they are unknowingly protecting the very thing they say they want to overcome. They are keeping it warm, keeping it safe, feeding it every time they choose the easier option. Pain is the environment where weakness cannot breathe. That is what almost no one tells you. Pain is not the enemy of growth. Pain is the condition under which real growth becomes possible. You do not get stronger by staying comfortable. You do not build discipline by avoiding resistance. You do not reconstruct your identity by protecting the person you already are. Growth requires pressure, and pressure, by definition, is uncomfortable. The problem is not that people do not understand this intellectually. Most people do. The problem is that when the discomfort actually arrives, they move away from it. They find a justification. They reframe the avoidance as wisdom. They tell themselves they are being strategic when really they are just being afraid. The mind is extraordinarily skilled at making retreat look reasonable. Watch how weakness grows. It does not arrive all at once. It builds through accumulation. It grows in the small moments where you choose to skip the conversation that needed to happen, where you decide the training session is not worth it today, where you tell yourself the circumstances were unfair and use that as a reason to stop moving forward. Weakness is built through repetition, just like strength is. Every time you quit before the task is finished, you are teaching yourself that quitting is the response to difficulty. Every excuse you accept from yourself is a brick in the structure of your own limitation. There is nothing dramatic about this. It is quiet. It is gradual. It is almost invisible until it is not. And by the time most people recognize it, the pattern is deeply embedded. The habit of avoidance has been running for years. The identity of someone who backs away from hard things is already formed. Not because they decided to be that person, but because they made 1,000 small decisions that, taken together, built that person without them fully realizing it. This is the honest and uncomfortable truth. You are the sum of what you have repeatedly chosen, not what you have wished for, not what you have imagined for yourself, what you have actually done, consistently, under pressure, when no one was watching. That is who you are right now. And if you want to be someone different, the process is not inspirational. It is not a revelation. It is a long and steady reconstruction through sustained discomfort. Pain exposes weakness before it removes it. This is the part that most people are not prepared for. When you start applying real pressure to yourself, the first thing that happens is that everything fragile becomes visible. Your avoidance patterns surface. Your excuses become obvious. Your emotional reactions become harder to hide from yourself. For many people, that initial exposure feels like failure. It is not. It is information. It is the structure being tested so that what is weak can be identified and addressed. The man who has never been pressured does not know what is weak in him. He has a comfortable self-image that has never been seriously challenged. He believes himself to be capable because nothing has yet required him to prove it. That is not confidence. That is untested assumption. Real confidence is not what you think about yourself in comfort. Real confidence is what remains after you have been under pressure and you have not collapsed. It is built, not assumed. Discipline is the mechanism through which weakness is gradually destroyed. Not in one dramatic confrontation, not in a single decision to change, through repetition, through showing up when the resistance is high, through doing the thing you said you would do even when the motivation is gone. Motivation is not a reliable tool. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Discipline is a structure that operates regardless of how you feel. If you are waiting to feel ready before you do the hard thing, you have already lost the day. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Pressure builds identity. This is something that most self-improvement conversations do not say clearly enough. You do not find yourself. You build yourself. You build yourself through resistance, through the moments where you were uncomfortable and stayed anyway. Through the moments where you failed and chose not to use that failure as an exit. Through the private struggles that no one saw, where you made the harder choice and did not get any recognition for it. That is where character is constructed. In private, in silence. In the unglamorous hours where nothing is exciting and the only reason you are still moving is because you made a decision about who you are going to be. Contrast two men. The first man encounters pain and his immediate response is to find a way around it. He is intelligent. He is capable. He is good at rationalizing, so he builds elaborate systems of justification that allow him to avoid the hard thing while still believing he is trying. He is always on the verge of the breakthrough. He is always preparing to be serious. He has plans and frameworks and intentions, but he does not burn the weakness. He negotiates with it. He manages it. And because he keeps it alive, it keeps running his life. The second man encounters pain, and he pauses. He does not enjoy it. He does not pretend it is easy, but he makes a different calculation. He recognizes that the pain is pointing at something that needs to change. So instead of moving away from it, he steps into it deliberately, not with recklessness, with intention, with a quiet understanding that this discomfort is the cost of becoming something better. He does not announce this. He does not perform it. He simply does it. And over time, that sustained engagement with difficulty changes what he is made of. The difference between these two men is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not even work ethic, exactly. It is their relationship with discomfort. One has learned to move toward it. One has learned to move away from it. And that single distinction, over years, produces completely different human beings. Self-control is the foundation. Without self-control, everything else is just information. You can understand every concept in this script perfectly and still change nothing if you cannot govern your own behavior in the moment when it is hard. Self-control is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about not being controlled by your impulses. It is about having a standard that your behavior has to meet and enforcing it internally, without external pressure, without accountability partners, without an audience. The highest form of discipline is what you do when no one is watching and there is no consequence for stopping. Delayed gratification is not a personality trait. It is a skill. It is a muscle. It is trained through practice. Every time you choose the long-term result over the short-term comfort, you are strengthening that capacity. Every time you choose the short-term comfort, you are weakening it. There is no neutral position. You are always training one direction or the other. The question is which direction you are training with your daily choices. Raising your standards is not a single decision. It is a daily renegotiation with yourself. It is looking at the level of effort you are putting in and asking honestly whether it matches the level of result you want. Not comparing yourself to other people. Comparing your current self to the version of yourself you are trying to build. That comparison is the useful one. That is the standard that matters. Long-term vision is what allows you to endure short-term pain without collapsing. If you do not know where you are going, every difficulty feels pointless. Every sacrifice feels like a loss. But when you have a clear picture of what you are building and why it matters, the discomfort becomes purposeful. The pain has a context. The struggle has a destination. And that changes the experience of it entirely. This is not about suffering for its own sake. This is not about toughness as performance. This is about recognizing that the version of yourself you want to become is on the other side of sustained discomfort, that the habits you want to break were built through repetition and will only be broken through different repetition, that the confidence you want is built through evidence, and evidence is built through showing up consistently under conditions that make you want to stop. You are not going to transform in a moment of inspiration. You are going to transform through days that feel unremarkable, through sessions where nothing is exciting and you finish anyway, through conversations where you say the hard thing instead of the easy thing, through the moments where your old self would have found an exit and you chose not to use it. That is the process. It is quiet, it is slow, and it is permanent. Stop protecting your weakness, not because someone told you to, because you have seen what protecting it costs you. You have lived the results of that protection. You know what comfort has given you. Look at it honestly, and then ask yourself whether you are willing to exchange that comfort for something worth having. Pain is a tool. It is diagnostic. It is developmental. It is the signal that you are operating at the edge of your current capacity, which is exactly where growth happens. The edge is uncomfortable by definition. That is what makes it the edge, but the edge is also where the work gets done. You already know what your weakness is. You do not need more information. You need a different decision, a quieter, more permanent decision, not announced, not performed, just made and then acted on every day until the old behavior no longer has any power over you. If you are ready to stop protecting what is holding you back, if you are ready to step into the discomfort and let it burn away what no longer belongs in your life, then you already know what to do next. Drop a comment. No more limits. Not for the audience, for yourself. As a record of the decision you just made.